That's one thing that, you know, Huerter's typically a point guard, but for her to have some opportunities to play off the ball and be able to use screens and not have to do all the ball handling all the time, that's an important piece to this team's puzzle.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Graber. I thought she's played well here today as well, and certainly in games 1 and 2 has had different flashes, but I thought she's played extremely well.
No question.
Mott this time leaves it short. Good job by Wright to kick the backside rebound. Can't get the first, can't get the second. And out go the City Rocks the other way. Nice bounce pass, thread the needle. You got Graber hitting the deck hard. And she's back on her feet, but tried to bounce it through and just couldn't fit it in there.
Just another good push in transition. She really threw the ball out and got after it. And, you know, a little bit short on that push pass, but right idea.
So sub 6 minutes to go here in the game. City Rocks a 54-37 advantage.
I'm not quite sure what happened.
Me either, but Adams is out of the game on the far side as well. I don't know if she got injured. I don't know if she's got some blood going on or what the situation is, but they're trying to sort that out on the bench, and they'll work on that off the court, but the action on the court will continue. Graber will inbound up top for Huerter. Nice step down feed. Patnode, that was a good feed from Chudy. Got it inside to Patnode, who finished in the low post.
And that was a great cut. You know, her defender just ball watched for half a second, and a nice backdoor cut and a nice delivery.
Answer 3 on the other side. Delez from the corner knocks it down. What's up next for us at, just a touch before 5:30. We'll have New Heights and the New York Havoc 17U matchup.
You know, what's interesting, Chris, is for a team like MCW Starz, right? So your first game, you're playing against 5 top 100 players. There's a lot of hype around the team that you're playing. And with all due respect to every team here, okay, you get that win, right? So you're feeling really, really good. And here's the thing about AAU and tournaments like this. You know, they celebrated after that win. Well, now you play City Rocks. I'm not sure any of the players on City Rocks are top 100 players. And now you're at a deficit, a 17-point deficit, and you're like, what the heck, right? But you've got to be able to turn it around and play. And I think a team like City Rocks proves that fundamentally sound players who share the basketball and make each other better can compete with anybody on any given day.
Well, listen, and there's a part of it that's one-on-one matchups, and I'm better than the player in front of me, and I'm going to show you why. Or I'm better than this player because you think I'm not, and here's me showing you. You know, you can't take out the human dynamic of it and the competitive nature of athletes. That's just the way it's going to be.
It's fun.
It is nice to be back, isn't it?
It is great to be back in
the
gym.
It really,
is.
To watching a game again, like being here, seeing competition, seeing games. It's
I think
great.
About all those AAU tournaments that I sat at from 8 o'clock in the morning until past midnight before they made changes in the rules, and being on the road for 30 days in a row. And, you know, you see the same thing maybe too many times that, like I said, you start finding out what's wrong with somebody instead of enjoying what's right. What's right with that was a nice 3-point hit, but
Avilas for 3.
Yeah, but it's good to be back.
I feel like the thing that I would see you on the road or I'd see you at events, and one of the things that would always get me is I'd be working a game and you'd be there for the 9:30 a.m. game, and there's an answer on the other end by Graber. You'd be there for the 9 a.m. game to see a kid playing in whatever class they were in, and then the next thing you were there to see wasn't until about 8:30 at night at the same venue, and you were already X hours away from home, so you weren't leaving. That was always the best part of recruiting. All the stuff in the middle that you weren't really there to see, but you were, might as well watch it anyway.
But those are where you find the hidden gems. Those are where you find the players that, you know, when you really watch and really pay attention, Sometimes you can also invent players. I've done that in the past. That hasn't worked out. But, somebody a long time ago told me, be the first one in the gym and the last one to leave. And I think whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, whether you're recruiting, if you love the game of basketball and if you love what you're doing, where else would you want to be?
That's right. The old Marv Levy, right? Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
I've been looking forward to this for a couple weeks, my friend, so.
Ooh, Huerter's mixing it up in there with Aviles, who's not feeling too good about that entanglement, but they'll separate and go the other way. He's still got 4 and change to go in this game, which is a 16-point game, so City Rock's in control right now. Ooh, good strong take by Adams, who cradles it and drives and scores. We've seen that from her.
She's got some stuff to her game.
Down goes Graber on the far side. I really wish I could find a comparable for her, or more specifically, I wish I could find a school that I could say, where I could see her playing, like in my mind, like if she was a men's player, where I'm putting her back in the day? She's a men's player playing at Pitt. She was a Jamie Dixon guy at Pitt. Like that's how I see her game translating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't want to get in trouble for saying what my gut instinct is on that.
I don't know if.
But here's what I would say, okay? Like we talked about earlier, so when you're taking notes on a game, it's like, okay, she can do this, she can do that, a fan of this, like her, love her, sign her, and then you can get to a point sometimes where you write TG, and that means too good.
Oh, right. She's out of your price range? You've priced yourself out of the competition?
If she continues to develop, and that's the thing, right? Because a player you might see as a freshman, you never know what's going to happen. And things happen. Players, circumstances change. Players move. They change programs. God forbid, sometimes players get hurt. But those things all affect players' development. Sometimes they grow. Sometimes they stay the same height that they are, and everybody else grows past them.
Sure.
But her trajectory and her, I think being a more consistent three-point shooter, I think that's something that, and being able to create those shots for herself, she's on a great trajectory to be a really talented player. And I think down the road, the question is going to be her height.
Sure. Well, and as I
I'm
think
just
you said,
being honest.
no,
I'm not.
And I think if we said as well, class of 24, so she's got that time to potentially grow and develop, and we'll see what happens. But it's been nice to see her play as well as she has, and I think you come into a tournament like this and you've got some names highlighted and some people I'm going to watch this person, we know about this person, she's committed here, and then you find people that you didn't know or didn't expect, or a team that came out of nowhere, and that's always fun to come out of these events too. Listen, I can't imagine the notebook you had when you leave events like this with kids that you saw, kids you liked, kids you noticed, things like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's different when you're an assistant coach versus when you're a head coach. When you're a head coach, you're put on certain courts to babysit and recruit certain players. As an assistant, it was always a fun game to go and hunt and dig players out.
Sure.
I enjoyed that.
You're competitive. I could see that. Adams trying to pull it up. Rattles around, won't go. City Rocks pulled down a rebound. We're down to 3 and change to go in a 63-46 game. Huerter kicks it over. Graber, she's been wanting to put one of those up for a while. It will not go. Loose ball tracked down by Huerter. Down goes Adams, and that leaves Patnode open inside for the hoop and the foul. Great find by Huerter and a good finish by Lauren Patnode.
From our unofficial tally, we feel that might be her 8th assist.
Listen, I'm good with it. Let's go with it. T says 8, I say 8. Works for me.
And I would say she probably has 5 or 6 rebounds as well.
Stat stuffer today. Surprise, surprise, right?
Yeah.
Rebound put back. Chudy will not go, but she did a good job to get a clean look at that. Just did not fall. Talbot puts up a wild one. Doesn't go. Should get her to the free throw. Not yet. We're not there yet. We're closing in on another 1-1 for the final 2 minutes and change. Oh, next one. check that. That was number 10. Now it's time to go shoot some free throws.
It went from 8 to 10, so maybe they double-checked their counting over there at the scorer's table.
As I'm sure another thing you can verify, the inaccuracy of accurate information maybe at tournaments is always sometimes fun, too. I'm sure a lot of people were 50% three-point shooters until you saw them in person, right? Oh, I hit 40% from deep all the time.
Well,
Are you sure about that?
But here's the fun part. The fun part is when you have a freshman in your office and you explain to her what a good three-point shooting percentage actually is, because no one's ever really talked about percentages before.
Sure.
Those are fun conversations. Lost money on that one.
To me, again, I've used the word a couple times, but it's fascinating. I find it incredibly informative, and I also enjoy the process. But, the recruitment of let's say somebody who's a class of 24 or 23, that you've got a couple years of development still at this level, still at the high school level. And then they come to your program, and you get them on campus, and you get to see how they match up with your kids who you've developed for 2 or 3 or 4 years, and where they fit in. And then, how that person, that young woman as a freshman who might be back to low man on the totem pole and, isn't asked to do everything that they were asked to do in high school or at a tournament like this. And then they become that kind of player. That kind of development and that, that there's a long range there, right? There's a 6-year, 7-year haul from one end of the spectrum to the other. I just find that tremendously interesting.
Well, and there's so much technology now with college athletics as far as analytics and points per possession. We don't have the time to go into it all right now, but it's a whole different world from what these kids deal with at the high school and AAU level to what they're asked of at the college level, and there's a really big learning curve there.
Feigelson goes up and converts. That's Sophia Feigelson on the fast break. Millbrook Prep, 5'9", class of 22, makes the layup and pushes it to over 20 points. Now a 22-point advantage, so the City Rocks run their break to perfection, and Tom Huerter with words of encouragement for his squad. And I know he's proud not only of the recruiting index we've talked so much about, but this event as well, because I know he's had a major part in getting this event off the ground and running. And we didn't even get a chance to talk about it, but the other component of the recruiting index that's going on is there's a essentially college style combine going on, pro style combine going on downstairs to test kids' agility and endurance and skills and things like that. So there's a whole feel to this event here this weekend.
Well, and it's changing the game, and it gives coaches real data that they can depend on. I mean, how many times as a coach have you asked for stats and it's been made up or embellished? And
accuracy.
I think, and I think the one thing that's always hard for me as an evaluator and a recruiter to figure out is speed and quickness from film.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you can tell if a player can finish. You can see a lot on film, but the pace of the game and speed and quickness is important because size and speed determines the difference between Division III and Division I. I played Division III basketball. I would have never had a chance to play Division I. I wasn't fast enough and I wasn't big enough. And those things to be able to evaluate in real numbers are important.
Abigail Wright converts on that driving layup, and the other thing too is the difference is so small too, right? D1 to D2 to D3, it's minimal at times. Muse on the other end won't get the first one to go. They'll fight for the rebound.
Her teammates wanted her to shoot.
Yep. Corner three's coming there, though. It's off the mark. They had Lombardi from the corner, and that one will not go. Crossover there by Wright, who gets to the goal. She's played well down the stretch here, and she gets armbarred and taken down as Laritas and Wright get together.
Laritas has had a nice game.
Very much. Came out early, hit shots early.
I think she's got about 13 points, if I have that right from a stat person.
Adams going to kick it back. Wright thought about it, now gives it off. Talbot steps into a three and hits it in a quick timeout taken by the Stars. 38 seconds to go in the game, and it's a 68-51 City Rocks advantage. So we're back up again real quick after this. We got a 5:25 game between New Heights and the New York Havoc, a 17U matchup. We saw New Heights earlier with the number 2 prospect in the country. We'll see our first look at the Havoc, who, as I look at the schedule, it's always fun to see how it goes. The Havoc played a 10:30 a.m. game, and now they're not back at it again until 5:30, so they had time for lunch and a little snooze if they wanted to, and now they're back up again.
Yeah, another upstate New York team. I'll talk about it in the next broadcast, but had a chance to get to their practice as well.
City Rocks unable to get it in. They avoid the 5-second and now have it. They get met with full court pressure from the Stars. Laritas on a baseline spin. Left it just a touch short. Doesn't get the second one either. Adams comes away with the rebound. Oop, lost her own footing, got tripped up there. Lost the ball, 15 seconds to go.
Be interesting to see if they pull the ball out here.
Yep, Lombardi with it, top.
Yeah.
Got it for Feigelson, 7 seconds to go. I don't think they're expecting them to put up another shot. Grace Almeida with it. And that'll be the final horn. You'll have a 68-51 City Rocks victory, so a complete performance from the City Rocks, who pick up their second win of the day in as many tries. We'll see them again tomorrow. They've got a pair of games tomorrow, but both of them on court 2, so we won't see them on line or on TV, if you will. So good wins for them on TV, and we'll get you set for our player of the game, but a nice performance and a nice win for the City Rocks. 2-0 today.
Great one. Great performance. A lot of players, different players stepped up, did some really nice things, and excited to have a chance to speak with the youngest of the Huerter crew.
So time now for our GymRat Recruiting Index Player of the Game. Real feedback from real college coaches in real time, and today's Player of the Game for this second City Rocks game is Jillian Huerter. Jillian, good to see you. Nice game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel like you played?
It was good. It was a tough game. You know, they're a physical team, but I feel like we handled it well and we played well as a team.
For you personally, from game 1 to game 2, I feel like you were active, you were involved in game 1. I feel like the start of this game, you were more so. Were you more from the start kind of go get it today?
You know, I just wanted to play aggressive, and like our whole team wants to play aggressive, so we all just have that mentality because we know that's how we're going to win.
Jillian, we talked about this at practice this week, talked about playing like a team, talked about playing for each other. Do you think your team did that today, and how? Why is that? Why and how do you guys play like that? Why does that work for you?
Definitely. We when we play together, we do better. We're better as a team, and we don't have, you know, selfish girls. We're all here to win for each other, so definitely we play as a team.
Hey, you guys, obviously everybody has their role, right? Everybody does a little bit of something well. Feigelson played very well. Chudy played well. You played well. What's the chemistry like on this team? And it's all about feeding off each other. How do you guys do it?
Yeah, we're a new team. We haven't played with each other for a long time, so we're still getting used to each other, but we try and, you know, find the open shot. We know who can shoot it, who can drive it, who can post up. So we're learning, you know, getting more accustomed to playing with each other.
Good stuff. Great job today, 2-0. Great game in the second game, and we'll see you tomorrow for more action.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Jillian Huerter from the Albany City Rocks, who go 2-0 today and pick up a win 68-51 in this most recent game. Got to take a break. When we come back, we'll have New Heights and the New York Havoc coming up right after this.
From the Capitol Center in Albany, New York, this is the GymRatLive Women's Invitational Basketball Tournament. So glad to be with you today. I'm Rich Becker alongside former Siena and Syracuse star Isis Young. And we've got New York Havoc. We start our 16U portion of the day here. Game number 5 on court number 1. 16U New York Havoc silver team against the Hoopers New York 16U team. And we've seen some great basketball so far from the 17s. I'm expecting we'll see some more from the younger teams as well, as we see some players who are definitely up-and-comers.
Well, both teams have really kind of a system, right? They like to run and gun, but they're also patient on offense. They have a really good mixture between transition and getting a lot of easy buckets, and then running that half-court offense, setting good screens, reading good screens. And both teams have a post presence, and that's probably what I'm most excited to see. Is I love when you get to watch grassroots basketball and you see the young post players, right? The future Asia Wilsons of the world. Yeah. And so I think that we may have some of those here today that are just young post players that are still developing, but have really good, solid skills and solid size at such an early age.
Yeah, the GymRatLive really born out of the COVID situation and players not really having the opportunity to get that exposure. So this really is a chance for coaches to be at home, in their living room, on their back deck, whatever, just watching basketball all day.
And it's great for the kids in terms of having tape of your games, right? Because these games that we're taping, they're going to be archived, so they can go back and watch. So it's twofold, right? We have coaches who can go back and watch games and say, okay, hey, I missed this 16U game, so I want to go back and watch it. I was busy doing something. But then you also have players who are taking their game to the next level who can say, all right, well, I want to watch